You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck.
I just talk to you and BS about things, so I'm good. I don't know what happens with these internet machines.
Welcome back for another issue of Imagine If. This is issue 198. That means we're 2 away from 200.
Oh, man. They haven't canceled us yet? All right.
I mean, I think we have it good in with the editor-in-chief and the publisher, so we're okay at the moment.
All right, we're safe. Man, the big 200. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a sneak up.
Can you think of any
I don't know.
big 200 issues?
Oh, gosh. Well, obviously, so the biggies were Justice League of America 200 and Avengers 200. I think George Perez did the art on both of those. And what's really interesting is Justice League 200, it was like a pretty good like revamping of the origin, kind of giving it a modern spin. But Avengers 200 was horrible. This is the one where it's like Carol Danvers is like impregnated, and then like her child is born and rapidly ages to a man, and like I think they go off into eternity to get married. It was some weird stuff.
Wait,
yeah, that's
Carol
right.
married her kid.
Yeah, it was a horrible issue. Like the way Carol got treated in the late 70s, early 80s was just not good, because then it's like, okay, let's fix her. Then the next time she appears is kind of like in that Avengers annual, and it's like, oh, okay, I know how we could fix her. Here's Rogue. Oh, that helped.
Yeah, Carol definitely has not had the best of luck in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully when we get to 200, we can pull off a Justice League 200 more than a Avengers 200 then.
Mitch, you're marrying your children.
What happens in the Justice League 200 one?
Like I said, I think it was just kind of like a revamping of the origin.
Okay.
Like,
Gotcha.
let's expand it more and all that stuff. I just remember the cover was all them fighting each other. Like, it's funny because like if you look at them in terms of the cover, JLA one, they're fighting each other, and it's a full spread cover, so it's like you only get to see half of it. You have to flip the comic book over. You're like, okay. And then the Avengers 200, it's this nice group shot of them coming at you. So it's like you would totally get baited by these covers. You'd be like, well, this one, the Avengers one, clearly looks like the better book. Oh no, true believer.
Well, we are going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the first episode that aired on Disney Plus this past Friday. And then, but first, as always, we are going to get into the spinner rack. So, Chris, what is new on this new comic book day?
Okay, so fans, if you go to your local comic shop, you have 2 days of comic book glory to entail. The first one will be Tuesday, and that will be all your DC comics. So we will have Action Comics 1029. It's crazy to say those big numbers still. Action Comics 1029 will be out, and this is the New Frontier era as written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. There is definitely going to be some focus on Superboy, because he's either going to be the greatest or the worst. So there's definitely some destiny there that maybe he might escape or might not. We have Batman Black and White Volume 3, Issue 4 out. Again, these are standalone tales that are just, getting famous writers and artists to come finally play with Batman. So some pretty cool stuff there. One thing that I like that's pretty cool is one of the variant covers is basically Two-Face either picking at or admiring his face. So that one's kind of cool looking just for the cover art alone. Then we have Batman Superman issue 16. So Gene Luen Yang is taking the Amazing Two, and he's going to have them travel throughout time. So this looks like it's very cinema themed, but it looks very exciting. So this will actually kind of take us back to kind of like the old 1940s serial adventures that these two had on the big screen back in the day.
Yeah,
so that's definitely going to be.
That's all we need is. That's all we need is Batman and Superman traveling around through time, like just mucking things up.
Well, but I tell you what, Gene is definitely pushing the idea of it all counts via the new frontier, or the infinite frontier. I'm sorry. So it's like, wow, like this is the brand new issue coming right out the gate, and he's like, yeah, let's do this. So like fans are going to be like, why does the Superman S look weird? Is Batman holding a gun? You know, like it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you a tour de force. So
did they give Batman the purple gloves?
So it's kind of hard to tell. So in the variant cover, he's obviously hiding them behind the cape, but they look very modern, but very retro-esque. If we look at the main cover, I do see the super shield, but again, Batman's doing a clever job of hiding his fist under the cape. So probably, yes, purple gloves. That's why he's hiding them.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's going to be some amazing stuff in that. I have a good feeling about that book. Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn #6 will be out. So if you definitely like the Sean Murphy verse of Batman stories, check this one out. It continues on, but more of a focus on Harley Quinn herself. There will be a DC Connect checklist poster, so check with your LCS and see if they have any of those awesome items for you, some little freebies there. We will have Detective Comics 1034. So this one, if we take a look, it's going to have a Robin backup feature. But what I find interesting is Huntress will be there. Now, I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with Huntress in this. Well, basically in these stories, like, are we looking at Helena Bartonelli or are we looking at Helena Wayne? So I am very curious to see if they will play with one character, play with both characters, or maybe even have both of them come together.
Can you think of a story? Has there ever been a story where Helena Bartonelli, like, received the information that in another timeline, another Earth, she was Bruce and Catwoman's daughter?
The best I could think of is probably, I think it was JSA Classified. So when they started, like, I think it was like the first 3 or 4 issues, it was a Power Girl arc. And this is where Power Girl is starting to, like, have her Earth 2 memories unlocked. And so I remember one of the covers, like, they have Power Girl and Huntress kind of like sitting on a high beam eating lunch together. So that might be, like, I don't remember it word for word, but I think that might be a case where, you know, Karen is like, yeah, in another dimension, we're like really good friends and you're the daughter of Batman. So that's the best I could think. I'll have to go hit the back issues and see if that does actually occur. Yeah. Well, let's see. Moving along. So if you are a fan of the Future State Teen Titans, definitely pick up this one. It's Future State Teen Titans Ruins one-shot. So right now the big mystery is, who is Red X? No one knows. They introduced him in Future State, and he's made it into the current stories. So they're definitely going to be exploring what that is and who that is. And then get ready. It's a brand new volume of Harley Quinn. So Stephanie Phillips and Riley Rossmo will be teaming up to create Harley Quinn Volume 4. So we're going to get to see the infinite frontier adventures of Harley Quinn and her new status in Gotham City and the Bat family. So that should be interesting to see. Teen Titans Academy #1 is out. So again, if you're on the quest to figure out who is Red X, pick up this issue. It'll probably tie in very nicely.
Who's the cover artist on that?
It looks like Rafa Sandoval. So, yeah, his art style is really cool. Gosh, I'm trying to think where I recently saw him. I think I saw him on the Bat books, or maybe even on Nightwing, I think.
It looks, I mean, I'm sure I've read some other stuff with him, but it doesn't it also look like the art of the guy that was doing the Shazam book recently?
Dale Eaglesham.
Yeah.
A little bit of Dale. I could kind of see that, like, with definitely the body proportions, the facial features. Yeah, I could see some of that.
Or is it just because that one cover of the new Shazam book has him in school in all the desk, and I'm just getting the things mixed up because that cover is classroom with desk?
It could be that too, yeah. So now anytime you see a classroom cover, you're going to be like, Shazam! Made my safe word. Let's see. So that's going to be your comics there. Now for collected editions, Batman Detective Comics Volume 5 will be out, and this is the Joker War crossover issue. So this will come out as a hardcover. So if you're collecting either Detective or Joker War, make sure you get stuff that aligns to your collection. Deceased is finally getting put out in trade paperback form. This one just blew away all expectations. I was happy to give you that hardcover, and I loved hearing your reactions from it. So this story is well worth its weight. It is fantastic. It's a great new multiverse of the DC universe. I love it. I've got great stuff about it. Next up, we will have Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, The Hunt for Harley. So this is part of the DC Black Label books. So if you were a fan of the movie, I would say definitely pick this up, as the cover art is definitely very suggestive that it's more in line with the movie versions of these characters instead of their comic versions of each other. And then here's a big hefty one, Swamp Thing, the new 52 Omnibus hardcover edition. So if you want those crazy adventures of the green and the red and Swamp Thing, am I a man or am I a swamp? Who knows? Definitely check it out. It's all there in one colossal tome for you. So that's what will be provided by DC Comics this Tuesday. If we go into our LCSs the next day on Wednesday, you can check out from Marvel Comics, Alien. So Alien is here with Disney acquiring Fox Studios. They now have their newest Disney queen. Forget princesses. The Xenomorph is here. So Alien #1 will be out. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Salvador LaRocca will be the headliners on this one. There is a crap ton of variant covers. So choose wisely. Let's see if you know your alphabet.
I was gonna say that Scotty Young cover is pretty hilarious looking.
Yeah, I like his little cartoony style one. So it looks like he's got Ripley, right? That was her name. So yeah. The Xenomorph hanging out on top of Ripley's costume there. Yeah, I dig his version. So if you want, get that one, and then wait for when Predator comes out in a couple months, and you could have the Scotty Young cute verse edition of these monsters. Now, the interesting question, though, will be, will Alien stay in its own universe, or are they getting it set up to be part of the Marvel universe? What do you think? What would you like to see? Keep it separate or have them join together, Mitch?
I guess, to be honest, it doesn't matter to me either way. Like, I'm sure they're going to have plenty of crossover, and they'll do it, but I don't know. I just bring it in. You know what? Might as well just bring it in. Make it all one universe. Have them interact with the breed. Is that who?
The Brood. Yeah.
No, the Brood. I always remember if it's the Brood or the Breed. Yeah, the Brood. And just be like, hey, look, we're similar.
Well, it's funny because that's what I was going to say. That's why I wouldn't have them be meshed in with the Marvel Universe, because then the Brood is like, well, why would we care for these ugly little things? And they're basically a straight ripoff of Alien. But yeah, so I'd say keep them separated, because you can always do the crossovers. But it'll be very interesting to see what Marvel's doing. Because, I mean, Marvel's got Star Wars. They've got Predators, Alien, and even Ultraman. So it's like there's some properties that, given time, they might be part of the Marvel universe. So that'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen there.
True.
All right, well, let's see. Moving along. Amazing Spider-Man issue 62 will out. 62 will be out, so we get to see Spidey in his brand new costume. I will say, this cover, Patrick Gleason he's making me like the costume a little bit more. I feel like this is like Arctic Spider-Man or something, just with the blue and white vibes, and but it is really interesting, and I'm very curious, like with the energy pouring out of it, what does that mean? So that'll be something. And then there's also the Man-Thing version covers. So I believe it's the 50 years of Man-Thing. That's insane. I can't believe he's that old.
Wait, is that Man-Thing cover? Is he got the Spider-Man webs on his face and then also the Venom logo on his chest?
Well, he's definitely got the webbing that does look more in line with the logo. So yeah, it's basically what they're going to do. Like, it's Spider-Man thing. So for this month, they're going to be having Man-Thing take over or be stylistic as your favorite Marvel characters.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's just fun to say Spider-Man thing, I guess. I hope they do the a Thing Man thing cover, just so you have to say that.
I was gonna say, is that what they're gonna be on the cover of? Is he gonna be on the cover of anything with their character has the name Man in it? So it's gonna be Iron Man thing, and I don't know who else, because it's not Doctor Strange Man thing. It's I don't know.
I'm sure they're going to go all over the spectrum, but yeah, I think it's better if they can find it with their characters ending in man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and here's another variant cover. I don't know. When I see the costume like this, I don't really dig it. This new Spider-Man, I don't know what's the purpose yet, just because I really haven't been reading Spider-Man. But I will say it's definitely handled better by some other artists.
That's fair.
Well, let's see. Black Panther issue 24 will be out. Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing it, and get ready because he's nearing his conclusion in this series. And then also, if you like the Michael Cho classic variant covers, there will be a Black Panther version of that as well. Let's see. Cable issue 9 will be out, so this will be interesting to see because we've got young Nate Summers, and he's dating the Cuckoo stepsisters. So I don't think Emma's a big fan of that, but it's kind of interesting because, Emma and Scott, so the junior versions, can, but you can't.
So is that Esme or Phoebe, or what's the other the third one's name?
Oh, I forget. But truth be told, I think he's dating all of them.
Oh, well, they all kind of share a hive mind anyways.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going on, is that he's dating all of them. So it's like, well, too much playing might be going on. I don't know. But enjoy Wi-Fi while you can, because old Cable will be coming back here. I think Cable is going to get canceled at issue 12, or maybe I shouldn't say canceled, but I think it is ending at issue 12. And they've been basically teasing that old Cable will be back. So that should be interesting to see what's going to happen there.
That's the fun part of time travelers. They can be all ages at all times.
Yep, exactly. Let's see. We've got Carnage, Black, White, and Blood #1 out. So these will be kind of the same idea with the Batman Black and White. Actually, it's kind of interesting. These color-coded books, they're really taking by storm, because we've got Batman and Superman having these. And right now we've got Carnage and Wolverine having these. There's a Wonder Woman one coming up. So, Mitch, I'm going to throw you on the spot here. You're editor at both companies. You're going to do a color-themed book. Which DC character, what color? And then which Marvel character, what color? So if you want, I'll buy you some time. I can keep going through the list.
Well, I got one already, because you know me. I like to see stories that delve into the second tier characters. Even though this is not one of my characters, I would love to see this book, The Guardian Gold.
Ooh, okay, nice.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. The Guardian Metropolis. So we get him coming back in gold. We just see the adventures of that. So there you go. All right, I dig.
We would do. Let's see, who else would we do? Well, we could do Anarchy Crimson.
There you go. All right.
And one more. Who is it that I don't get to see much of? How about Black Canary Black?
Oh, nice. And I think she could totally headline her own book for that. That'd be awesome.
What about you?
Well, let's see. If we're playing in the DC universe, so the one that's going to basically give me a license to print money, it's simple. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, blue and gold, right there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just shenanigan antics of these two. I think that would work. For my own personal taste, I would suggest Green Lantern, Green and Black. Adventures done in that style. I think that could work out. And plus, with it being various, and with there being, like Rafa and I were talking the other day, there's 9 Earth Green Lanterns. Alan, Hal, John, Guy, Kyle, Simon, Jessica, the Teen Lantern, and Joe. That's 9 Earth Lanterns.
Who's Joe?
Joe is the Green Lantern from Far Sector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're definitely bringing her in. So
wait, Is
Go ahead.
Joe a Lantern for 2814 or just from 2814?
I think she's for sure from. I don't know if she'll be a Green Lantern 4.
Gotcha.
Supposedly her deal is like she's got an experimental ring, but I felt like she was from the future. So I don't know if they're doing that where she's from the future and she's in the here and now or whatever her case may be.
Okay.
I haven't read Far Sector, so it'll be interesting. But I mean, right there, I can give you 9 issues just by having each lantern have their own issue, you know?
That's insane.
We haven't even talked about alien ones, you know? So there you go. And then I guess just because it'd be fun to play with, I think Captain Atom Chrome, that could work.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Let's see. All right. Should we dive into the Marvel side of it? You want to go first or you want me to toss?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do you got going to be on the Marvel side?
All right. Just because it would be amazing, I'm going to go with Cyclops Ruby. I think that would be great.
I like that.
His Ruby Quartz. So there you go. This one would be interesting to be kind of cheating the system, but I would like to do Ghost Rider, Black, White, and Flame. And so that way I could play with some of the, fiery tone colors and stuff like that. So I think that'd be kind of a catchy appeal title. And then I guess now I need to make a book that's probably going to start making money for Marvel. So let me think of some of the cash cows. I guess honestly this could work, but Iron Man Gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
would you call it Red and Gold?
Ooh, you're right. I think you'd have to go with that, Red and Gold.
So I would definitely do Beast, Blue and Gray.
Nice.
Let's see who else. Some of my other characters we could do. We could do Genis Vell and call it Cosmo. No, what's the color that I would associate with him?
Well, see, I was thinking that, like, maybe you just go Captain Marvel Cosmic, Stars in Cosmic or something. I don't know. That way, you get to play with some of the other Captain Marvels, but it definitely Genisville gets a home there.
And then let's see, the last one we could do Taskmaster Orange.
I want that skull mask. I know you're not a fan, but I want that skull mask.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Just no cape.
Now I quit the book. I'm done. Yeah, but all right, there you go, fans. So pitch us your books. Who would you do in the big universes, or even the independents? What color themed books? Because obviously the companies love this because it's like, hey, how many colors do we need? Black, white, and blood. So black, white, and red. We're done.
We're done.
Colorist everywhere kind of worry. All right, let's see. Moving along, we've got Excalibur issue 19. So some big stuff here. Betsy and Kawanin look like they're going to be facing off, and there is some talk about Psylocke getting a costume change or something. So this could definitely be leading towards that. Now, this is a big one, and I haven't had a chance to read it, but Marvel is really hyping this one up. Guardians of the Galaxy issue 12. This looks like where the brand new space adventures are going to start beginning. So
is that
definitely
a mystery cover, or are we supposed to guess who those characters are? Or do we already know who those characters are?
No, I think this one, I think we know who these characters are. And actually, you know what? I think I might be a month early. Maybe it's, because I think I am, because Liftoff. And so this will kind of finish up their current story arc. So we do know who this team is. They're definitely going to be mucking with Nova, as we can see his crushed helmet there. So this will kind of end where it's at. And actually, I'm sorry, issue 13 is where it's going to be at. And that one, the PR department did play with the idea of showing us mystery covers. Like they'd have a couple of different characters, and then some of them were blacked out and you had to figure it out. And then like 2 days later, they just said, oh, heck with it. Here's the whole lineup. So like the Guardians of the Galaxy look like they're going to be an army now. Like there's definitely going to be a lot of people there. I'm pretty stoked because they're kind of going back to their blue and red uniformed costumes. So I like that. Except the bummer is Star-Lord had a good costume, and this new one, from what I've seen so far, doesn't look so good. So I'm kind of bummed that he's gotten a costume downgrade. Well, let's see. King in Black is still going on. So King in Black Scream will be getting a one-shot. So this is like one of the symbiote offsprings of Carnage. So we get to see what's going on with her as she deals with the whole King in Black scenario. Maestro War and Pax issue 3 will be out. So if you want more adventures of the Crazy Hulk, not that there's many of those, but you can definitely pick that up. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 24 will be out, and there you go, one of the variant covers, Miles Morales Spider-Man thing. So we get to see Man-Thing as another Spider-Man. Luckily, this time he made sure to wear his cool sneakers as well, so that's part of it. Savage Avengers issue 19 will be out, and I'm sad to say Savage Avengers will probably get me now. One of their, in the upcoming solicits, they have Ghost Rider. He's going to be teaming up with the team. And I'm like, son of a gun. So now I might have to start picking up some of these ridiculous adventures. So, yeah. And also, if you are a Michael Cho classic Marvel character fan, definitely check out one of the variant covers for Savage Avengers because it'll feature Black Widow. There are quite a few Star Wars books, but then we will have Taskmaster issue 3 getting a second printing as a new character is introduced. If I try to say this, I'm probably going to butcher it. Taigukai?
Taigukai, yeah.
Yeah, and he is going to be the idol of South Korea. So this will be very interesting to see what this character will do. So I guess there must have been a pretty good reaction. So we'll see more of him. So his first appearance is definitely getting reprinting. That's always a good sign. And this is just in time because we will also have Taskmaster issue 5 out. And why are we excited? Because Black Widow's on the cover. So someday in some version of the universe, we will get to see the Black Widow movie.
Maybe.
And those two were supposed to square off or, something.
Something.
Yeah. So all we can do is speculate. The fact that it's Taskmaster, there's an M in his name, that means Mephisto.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Mephisto confirmed.
So that's going to be all your single issues. If you are looking at collected editions, so there is Avengers The Gathering Omnibus Edition. See, Mitch, we were on the right track because these are some of those issues we read with Vision getting his new colorful costume and all that. Fans, I have to warn you, I love Steve Epting, so I'm down for the art. I don't even mind the fact that some of these Avengers are running around in brown leather bomber jackets. I'm cool with that. But the angst that Bob Harras brings to these books is going to be so much. I mean, these characters are just on edge, extremely angry for no freaking reason. Yeah, so I mean, buyer beware. It is a big omnibus. It'll collect the whole thing. One of the cool benefits of this era, this is when Black Widow actually steps up to be the leader of the Avengers. So that was a huge change in scenarios. You will get to see Cersei in action. So if you want to get yourselves Cersei and Black Knight, so if you want to get yourselves prepared for the Eternals, definitely check that out. Crystal of the Inhumans is there as well. So if you want to see her adventures, which is wild because a lot of people forget she is the sister-in-law to Wanda because Crystal married Pietro. So we get to see some of her there and some of her doubts about her marriage to Pietro. So that'll be interesting to see. Fantastic Four Epic Collection Volume 2 will be out. This will feature the Master Plan of Doctor Doom. So if you want to get some of the early adventures of the Fantastic Four by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, definitely pick that up. Dazzler will be getting a Volume 2 of Marvel Masterworks. That's right. Dazzler has her own set of Marvel Masterworks. So if you want to pick up some of the early adventures, go for that. Invincible Iron Man will be hitting Volume 13 of his Marvel Masterworks series. Now that's crazy that what we're getting there. So I think this now puts us in the 80s. So that's pretty crazy. Punisher, Welcome Back Frank, will be collected as a Marvel Select hardcover. So if I remember correctly, I know it's Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, but I think this is the first time they teamed up to start their crazy adventures with Frank. Werewolf by Night, New Wolf Rising will be collected. So if you want to get some of the new adventures of Werewolf by Night, definitely check it out. X-Men Epic Collection Volume 3, Sentinels Live, is getting a new printing. So these are some of the offbeat adventures of the X-Men. This is kind of when the book was circling the drain, as we might say. So it was approaching limbo. I appreciate these adventures, but I love the 05. But there is some great stuff here with Roy Thomas and Neil Adams teaming up to do some trippy X-Men artwork and seeing how the X-Men defeat the Sentinels one more time. X-Men's famous crossover Inferno will be collected as an omnibus edition again. So if you definitely want to pick that up, this was a response to the infamous love triangle of Scott, Jean, and his wife, Madeline. And then also Magic had a huge growing up backstory here where we get to see her master the realm of limbo and then also become the Dark Child as well. So a lot of crazy stuff happened in there. And, well, that's your spinner rack.
What a spinner rack it is. Okay, let's get into the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Chris, what'd you think of the episode?
Oh, I loved it. You know me, I'm a huge Winter Soldier fan, so I am super stoked to get to see more Bucky in my life. I liked the new add-ons that were there. I thought they were great. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with these Flag Smashers. And Bucky in therapy was just fun.
Let me ask you a question. Do you separate Bucky from the Winter Soldier? Like, you said you love the Winter Soldier, but do you love like the stories now when it's not so say the stories when he wasn't the Winter Soldier but he was Captain America, or the stories that we get told about when he was, you know, kid Bucky or teenage Bucky with Captain America? Like, do you separate those different characters, or do you consider it all one story?
Well, I consider it all one story.
Okay.
It's just those chapters in his life, that type of stuff. Because I was thinking about that. Like, it's funny because in the comics, Bucky has embraced the title of the Winter Soldier. Like, you know, people like, oh, hey, it's the Winter Soldier. He's like, yep, that's me. I feel like in the movies, though, I don't think he wants to embrace the Winter Soldier title because it's evil. You know, It's like, okay, this is. So it'll be very interesting to see, you know, like, because even with his whole, like, okay, you know, don't do anything illegal, don't hurt anybody. And then state your name and reasoning behind it. And even then he's like, I'm not the Winter Soldier anymore. I'm James Buchanan Barnes. And it's kind of like, huh. I mean, the show is called Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, and so it's like, will they themselves properly? Because, like, that was a big payout for WandaVision. Wanda is now acknowledged the fact that she has the moniker Scarlet Witch. So what's going to happen here? And I know everybody lost their stuff when Black Panther came out and we had that end scene. And it's like, oh, we call him White Wolf. And everybody's like, oh, my God, they're going to change his name. You know, click here. So, you know, that was BS. So I hope by the end of this that they, like Marvel themselves, are the MCU. I hope that they really embrace the Winter Soldier name and come to say, like, yeah, it's a heroic identity instead of it really being bad.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that he will embrace the name of the Winter Soldier, and it will no longer mean the shadowy assassin that comes out to kill you. Is there any precedent in the comic books for a time when Bucky went around making quote unquote amends? Or I mean, obviously, comic book trope is to always be making amends for your past mistakes and stuff like that. But is there anything similar to this where he was literally going off of a notebook?
I wouldn't say it entirely that way. Like, I know at the end of Ed Brubaker's Captain America run, like, Bucky hinted at, like, there's stuff I need to go back and do. And then when Bucky spun off into his first volume of Winter Soldier by Ed Brubaker, it was basically him stopping the other Winter Soldiers from being released from hibernation and stuff like that. But as for, like, a checklist style, like, hey, my name's Bucky Barnes, and there was a day where I got on the fight with the freeway and I caused your car to be crushed. Here's the keys to a new Lexus. My bad. No, they really haven't gone to that level. So I think that's just TV movie stuff that they'll probably play with.
I mean, as a big fan of Hey, My Name is Earl, I'm sure you enjoyed that a lot.
Hey, my name is Bucky.
I also wanted to draw the parallels between the fact that Bucky and Cap both have a notebook, where they're keeping a list after they woke up. Cap's list is definitely different, where it's like, hey, these are the things that I missed and I should probably catch up on. Whereas Buck's is like, yeah, these are the people that I wronged and I really need to go fix that. Or these are the people that I helped, gain power and I really need to go fix that. So it was good to see that he was like, oh yeah, this senator needs to be taken down a peg. So let me go get her arrested real quick.
Yeah, I did like that parallel. I thought that was neat. So that just goes to show people from the 1940s, they don't put lists in their phones. They still buy notebooks. So they're the two that are keeping it together. And
another parallel would be seeing Buck sleeping on the floor with a pillow and blanket. Very much what Captain America was saying to Falcon in The Winter Soldier. He's like, beds, they're just too soft. It feels like a cloud, like you're going to fall right through. I'm sure he has other reasons why he is sleeping on the floor. But I would have to say that has to be a callback to that.
Well, it's definitely a callback, and it's also very much, the callback to PTSD and real world scenarios. So, I will say, this show really delved into a lot of the struggles that service people go through. I was very surprised by some of that. I
mean, they're definitely using that as an analog in the whole Sam Wilson trying to save his family's house and boat. The idea that he went off and fought this war. He was a part of the Avengers, or a part of the army, and he comes back and no one wants to give him a loan to save his home. No one wants to hear the plight that he's going through, because one, you don't have income for the last 5 years, and it's like, well, is that exactly true? I have income for the last 5 years of the years that I existed, but for 5 years you guys went on without me, kind of thing. That has absolutely nothing to do with me. I'm still doing stuff. But yeah, you would really think that if you sign the Sokovia Accords, shouldn't you be getting paid by somebody, the UN?
Yeah, you'd think they'd be kind of, okay, well, this is my job. This is where I'm at. Just even for the PR aspect of it, I think a bank would be like, just remind people that we saved the Falcon's family. That would be awesome. Because, oh my God, much kudos to that actor who played the loan officer. I hated him. You're Sam. Can we do a picture? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is so cool. And then it's like, yeah, but I can't help you. It was man, that was a page out of the real world. It was that is perfect. It's, hey, we can love you, but when you need us, sorry, we're not there. And that's what Banks 2, Marvel 0, because even Peter Parker, when him and Aunt May went to the bank, they couldn't get a loan.
And that was Joel McHale. That was the loan officer in that movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Starman denied them.
That's right. I was going to bring up, but in the comic books, the Avengers are paid through the Maria Stark Foundation. Am I correct?
Yep, that is correct.
And that's one of the biggest draws, as you've brought up many times, when Tony Stark gets Spider-Man to come to the Avengers in Civil War. He's like, hey, we have money. And he's just like, thank you so much.
Yep. There was somebody pulled that plant panel because they've been obviously all the Easter egg articles, and they use that panel where it's exactly that, Iron Man in his armor is like, we've got money, and then Spider-Man just hugs him crying thank you.
So it's I mean, I get it. It creates a problem for Sam to have to deal with in the show. It's just odd that it's not something that was thought about in this world already, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely a trip to see, because I mean, Tony and Pepper are not stupid people. They would have found a way to let's let's take care of our family and their extended family. So it is hard to realize that, like, wait a second, you're telling me during blip time that Tony didn't reach out to Sam's sister and be like, hey, your brother died in service, we're going to pay for the boat and the house, and you guys just run and maintain. Like, I'm very surprised by that. Very surprised.
Let's talk about some of the new characters they introduced. One of them you talked about was the Flag Smasher. Now, that's a character in the comic book, but now they've made it into an organization in the movie, or in the show, so to speak.
Yes. So I was very surprised. So Flag Smasher is, a great, another version of the Red Skull. So while the Red Skull enforces his enthusiastic views, the Flag Smasher is basically all about, like, no, there will be no nations, there will be no borders. It is not needed. Patriotism is a disease on humankind. So that's what he's been all about. Now, the fact that it's a gang is very interesting. I like the idea. I think it definitely plays over well, especially in our modern world, and especially in a world with the blip, where it's like people are coming back and it's like, well, are they really gonna, care about, like nations and stuff like that, or is it all for the people? So it definitely looks like a wild introduction. My theory was that the woman that we see, at least in the trailer, I was thinking she was going to be Sin. But I think I caught somewhere that they said her name, and I guess she's actually going to be, she is the Flag Smasher character himself. They just gender swapped.
Okay. So is that what the LAF was?
Something to that effect. Yeah. Like, gosh, I should have said. I should have kept that article handy, because they did talk about that, and it was like, okay, this is really interesting. Because, like I said, I just figured with the red hair, I was like, oh, cool, and the fact that she wants to cause anarchy, like, I was like, okay, this should be awesome. Like, this totally fits Sin's MO, but it's not. So I guess the Flag Smasher personality is still there. So yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see in the next couple of episodes.
Lieutenant Torres is a Army, maybe Air Force. I don't know which one he's supposed to belong to. But he is essentially Sam's kind of sidekick in this show. In the comic books, he's Joaquin Torres. He is a mutant, and he has feathers and eagle or bird eyes, so to speak, and he becomes the new Falcon after Sam becomes Captain America. Do you believe that they are going to go the same way? Is he going to be a mutant? Is he going to grow feathers? Or is he just going to get Sam's backup motorized wings?
Well, so I think, because everybody keeps dropping this, and I guess it's been a big hint, the Power Broker. Was
the Power Broker talked about in the show?
I don't think it was talked about in the show, but there's definitely hints. Like, if you go to the end credits, you see, so it's right by the music supervisor, Dave Jord, and like you can see in the background, it says Power Broker and then something watching. So Power Broker is watching, I don't know. And you see this like little blue vial. So it definitely kind of has a feel that it's like, okay, maybe that's why the Flag Smashers have incredible powers. Maybe that's why USA or John Walker is able to become Captain America, because this is the modern day super soldier serum, So it sounds like the Power Broker will definitely be used. So I don't think they might go the mutant route with Joaquin just yet, but I can definitely see like this is where he gets powered. So maybe they will play with that it's like, well, because luckily so far most of our Avenger characters still are very humanoid looking. And what if Joaquin is one of the people like, well, hey, I got powers, but I don't look very human-esque anymore, he's with the whole avian eyes and stuff like that. So maybe that could be something that we'll start playing with.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. The Flag Smasher, when we see one of the leaders, the guy who's robbing whatever place that was, like he does kick people across the building and pull one over on Joaquin, when he has a gun in his face. Are we thinking more people that had super soldier serum in them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like whatever that blue stuff is going to turn out to be, either, some kind of like, I can't think of Bane's juice right now. Venom. Are they going to find something like that's been in the history of Captain America comics and they'll try to throw that in there? Or will it just be, this is Super Soldier Serum 2, whatever the case may be.
I did love the reintroduction or return of Batroc the Leaper. To me, that character in the comic books has always been very silly and a throwaway. But between Winter Soldier and this, like, he is a formidable villain. Like, he can do the job that needs to be done. Yeah, no, he's a great character. It's just the costume is ridiculous looking. Yes, the comic books is ridiculous.
Once you get rid of his French mustache and the wannabe Wolverine mask, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. I love the way he gets played in this. I love his seriousness, his organization. He's just awesome. So it's like, okay, this is cool. Like, I can't believe people, obviously we have yet to use the actual phrase Batroc the Leaper, but it's kind of cool like that. It's like, wow, he's actually a pretty cool villain.
Another James made his way onto the screen. James Rhodes, also known as Rhodey. How did you feel about his little part that he played in essentially kind of nudging Sam in a certain way?
So definitely cool to see him in the show. I'm very curious to see, like, is he healed? Yeah. That's where my mind was like, wait a second, because last time we saw him, I mean, other than being inside the armor, but it was like, what was it at the end of? Because when the whole Tony Stank bit happened, he was wearing that exosuit, right? Like those big exo legs.
Well, even in Endgame, when he had to release himself from his War Machine suit, he was dragging his legs across like he couldn't use them.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to see, like, well, how is he healed? That'll be very interesting to see. And I did find it interesting, yeah, like you were saying, like he is nudging Sam, like, you need to be Captain America. So, like, does he know that the government is going to be instilling their Captain America? And he's kind of like, no, you should do it because one, you won't be their pawn, or, so like, yeah, I'm very, very curious to see how he's going to play in this, because from what I remember of them in Civil War, like those two kind of clashed with each other. It's like, well, we're both servicemen and I'm willing to toe the line and you're not, so it's kind of like, okay, so like, how have they developed a friendship now? So that'll be definitely interesting to see what War Machine's stakes are in this situation.
And a very, maybe not very deep cut anymore, but I still consider a deep cut. At one point, when Buck is on his date, he talks about having a sister named Rebecca. Is this a Easter egg to Ricky Barnes, the Heroes Reborn Bucky?
Well, I know he has a sister, just because like they did a wonderful story called it's Captain America and Bucky, the life story of Bucky Barnes, I believe. So it's at the tail end of Ed Brubaker's adventures on the Captain America book. It was like a 6-part, actually maybe a 5-part, I think, a 5-part miniseries. And so basically it's an explanation of Bucky's life, like how he wound up at Camp Hammond, how he wound up working with Captain America, his, discovering of the Holocaust, being drafted into Soviet Russia and all these things. And at the end of the story, we see him sitting at his sister's bedside telling her these stories. And of course she's an old woman and he's just like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm here. So I thought that was a nice touch. I'll have to go back now and look at the comics and see if her name was also Rebecca, because you're right. Maybe it is a little bit of a nod to Ricky Barnes. But I do love the fact that they remembered or mentioned that Bucky has at least one family member.
Yeah. And then I think the last character that we really need to talk about is the last character that's introduced in the show. John Walker, U.S. agent or Captain America at this point. Do you think that he is going to have super soldier strength and abilities?
Yeah, I definitely say so. Just because, obviously we have a big cheat. We call these things comic books. So we've seen what he is capable of. He can definitely, he can put Steve on the ropes. He might not be able to beat him, but he can definitely, hang tough. And again, too, you're not just going to take some random soldier and put him in the uniform because, then it's going to be somebody who potentially can die. So, I definitely say he's going to have the power boost. I think that's probably what's going to be the side effect to whatever this new Captain America juice number 2 is. I think it's going to cause irrational anger, which is definitely something that U.S. agent has been very prone to, but it's more prone just because he's very set in his ways for the good or bad of those views. But I definitely can see that that's something that they'll play with, that here's a very, a guy with good intentions, but he's flawed. And then now he's taking this steroid that's causing him to become, irrational and potentially violent.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. He is one of the characters that I enjoy to read, even though he's not always a good guy. I also have a feeling that they're going to be pulling the same thing they did with us with Iron Man 3 and the Mandarin. I feel like and it might just be because it's Wyatt Russell playing the role. If you're familiar with his
Ben Kingsley underneath the mask.
Yes, exactly. Ben Kingsley. It's going to be a follow-up to that, that Once in Future King short or whatever it was called. No, Wyatt Russell, his acting has usually been more comedic than anything else, which I also want to bring up the fact that he is Kurt Russell's son in real life, and so now we have both father and son in the MCU because Kurt Russell was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
That's a good point. Wow, I didn't make that connection.
But what if he is just the mascot, just like how the U.S. government wanted to use Steve when they first got him? He was, as he drew it on that paper, he was the dancing monkey. It wasn't until he took it into his own hands and went after to help Buck that he became Captain America, so to speak. So I know from the trailer that there's at one point in time, this Captain America is going to go out on a football field with a marching band and dance around. So I don't know. Is there a chance that he doesn't have any powers? He's just a mascot.
That brings up a good point. Because you're right. I when you were talking about that, my mind flashed to that football field scene, and it's like, okay, maybe he is just that. Maybe he is USO Captain America, and he's content with that. He's like, hey, man, I'm gonna get all these babes and money and fame, and then all of a sudden, by accident, it's like, oh crap, I am actually a hero. Oh boy.
Yeah. So, was there any other things that you wanted to bring up from the episode?
I just gotta say, I mean, I really enjoyed the fact of how they opened it. I thought it was great. We see that awesome sky chase scene for Falcon's introduction in this. Like, wow! Like, I want to know what was real and what was CGI, because it was just so brilliant looking. I enjoyed that. Great. And then I really liked the bits of humanity that they injected into Bucky. He's still such a tragic character. In that line hit me so hard when he's talking with his therapist, and she's like, you need to open up. You need to learn that people want to help you. The government's pardoned you. Your mind's clear. You're free. And then he just kind of mutters back, "Do what?" And it's like, wow, because I mean, the guy, he basically, knowing the story of Bucky, it's like, well, he went from being a child to, going into the military service. And then that's all he's ever known. It's orders. You do this, you do this, you do this. So it's like, well, what do you do when there's nobody giving orders? Like, what is life? And it's like, a lot of people love the fact that when he's the Winter Soldier, he's wearing that mask, so he never really spoke. Like, that's why I was kind of bummed when they did that line when he kills the politician or whatever, and then he's like, Hell Hydra. I wish he didn't say it, because I think that would have been even better had he not had any speaking. But now it's really even bigger to the fact that it's like, wow, because, I mean, if we think about it, the one time he finds peace, it's over in Wakanda, but what do they even do? It's like, hey, we need a weapon. Put your arm on. Let's go. So it's, like I think we're going to finally get to discover who Bucky Barnes is, and I'm excited for this journey.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry that I tried to cut out of this without talking about Buck. He does have that one line in there too. It's like where, I'd be put to sleep and I'd be woken up to go on a mission. Like, it's all I've known for so long. He's had no moments of reprieve until he got to Wakanda. So it is got to be stressful for him to try and reacclimate or be different or not be on mission all the time. And then he is trying to make amends with an older gentleman that he killed his son. That's the flashback we see, is that he killed the son just because he was a witness, that he just happened to see what happened. They definitely try to make it seem like he was hanging out with that old man first just because he could have been a World War II vet.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh, cool. Like, maybe this guy's a howling commando. Maybe, maybe that's one of Bucky's friends. And I was so excited just because I would love the parallels of like, here's two grouchy old men, but one looks like a dude, a younger dude. And instead that twist, it was like, oh man, like, dang, that's going to be some emotional damage right there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously both characters have a lot to work through. There's that meme that's going around where it shows Buck, Sam, and Wanda all at Tony Stark's funeral, and it says, what does it say? It says the we really needed therapy, but they gave us a TV show instead crew.
Yep, exactly.
So obviously Sam seems like he's doing better, but he is suffering from losing a very close friend. Not that Steve is dead, but he's not in his life anymore. But he also has a severe case of imposter syndrome. Like, he doesn't feel like he can ever live up to being Captain America, to live up to Steve Rogers' legacy. So he gives the shield away. He puts it in the Smithsonian, which then they give it back to the U.S. government, and the U.S. government gives it to the new Captain America, which seems very weird. Like, I don't feel like that's how that works. But okay, we'll see.
It's the government. What are you going to do?
Anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, just I'm hooked like that. For that being like, I know a lot of people were kind of like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I enjoyed it. And I cannot wait to see Sharon Carter. Like, she's actually going to become a character. I'm excited because I've known Sharon Carter, and from what I've seen of her in the MCU, I feel like she's very muted. I cannot wait to see Baron Zemo, just because I consider that to be, Bucky's, evil villain. And then something, I guess, okay, I almost forgot. If we go back to Bucky's notebook, so he's got some names in there, right? And Zemo is one of the names. So let's see here. I'm using Screen Rant's little Easter egg, and so some of the names will be familiar to comic book readers. So we have A. Rostov, who's the Red Barbarian. He was assassinated by the Winter Soldier in the comics again. P.W. Hauser. So that is probably, it's a reference to the Nazi called Wilhelm Hauser, who fought Fury and his commandos in the comics. Hauser was a thorn in Sam Wilson's side during his time as Captain America. So he was a radio host who wanted Sam to give up the shield to John Walker, the U.S. agent. Helmet Zero, so the main villain of Captain America Civil War. He's going to be in this show. L. Kaminsky, a Marvel comic book writer and editor whose work included stories featuring Sam Wilson and John Walker. C. I'm going to butcher this one. Kuznetsov, probably a reference to a scientist who created a sentient robot for the USSR. And then S. Whitaker, and he's a Marvel writer who wrote several Captain America stories. So, yeah. And I mean, Like, we got some characters, we haven't gotten them all. That's exciting to know.
So yeah, a switch between characters in the comic books and writers, creators of the comic book. So that's very cool. I like that. I like that a lot. If you have any other information that we missed from this episode, then you'd like to talk to us, please find me on Twitter. I am at Mitchipedia, GEM. GEM stands for Geek Elite Media. Chris, where can people find you online?
Definitely find me on Twitter as well. My handle is Stuff I Should Say, should being spelled SHUD. And then check out geekelitemedia.com and AIPTcomics.com for my writings about comic books and my love of it.
The rest of Geek Elite Media is at Geek Elite Media on Twitter, at Geek Elite Media on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Geek Elite Media is our Facebook page. Check out archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts on our network on our website, geekelitemedia.com. Please go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Geek Elite Media. You get all kinds of bonus material that you can only get if you're one of our patrons. And whatever podcatcher you use to listen to us, please rate and review us. It helps spread the word of our network. But until next time, this is Imagine If on the Geek Elite Media Network, saying always remember to geek out.
Geek out.
This concludes our broadcast. Beep.